One of the most common concerns for new vegans is whether a diet of only plant foods can be nutritionally adequate. This is hardly surprising when you consider the position that animal-based foods have maintained in the standard Western diet, which has historically relied heavily on flesh, eggs, and dairy milk. Even now, in 2020, the debate continues to rage around whether humans have evolved to be omnivorous or herbivorous. But there is an increasing body of evidence to suggest that we are much better suited to, and even anatomically designed for, a plant foods diet. Nevertheless, in spite of mounting evidence to suggest the very opposite, many people, including some medical and health professionals, still hold on to the belief that consuming animal products is necessary for adequate or optimum human health. Meanwhile, evidence continues to suggest that not only is a well-planned plant foods diet nutritionally adequate, but eliminating animal-based foods can actually reduce one's risk of disease and encourage overall physical health and well-being. The Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, formerly known as the American Dietetic Association, is the world's largest organization of food and nutrition professionals, representing more than 100,000 credentialed practitioners, including registered dietitian nutritionists, dietetic technicians, and other nutritional professionals holding undergraduate and advanced degrees in nutrition and dietetics. The most recent position paper of the Academy states, "It is the position of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics that appropriately planned vegan diets are healthful, nutritionally adequate, and may provide health benefits for the prevention and treatment of certain diseases. These diets are appropriate for all stages of the life cycle, including pregnancy, lactation, infancy, childhood, adolescence, older adulthood, and for athletes." Vegans do get certain nutrients from different sources than non-vegans, and it's a good idea to be aware of those differences to avoid deficiencies caused by not being properly informed. We recommend that everyone new to veganism familiarize themselves with how to optimize nutrition as a vegan, and we have insights to offer on that subject later on in this step of the program. Having a basic understanding of the fundamentals of nutrition is a good idea no matter what makes up one's diet. And it's possible for anyone to miss out on key nutrients, whether or not they're vegan. The truth is that the supplement industry rakes in hundreds of billions of dollars annually, and it's not coming from vegans. Not only do non-vegans face all kinds of health problems caused by the standard American diet, including heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, and obesity, the need for supplementation caused by nutrient deficiencies is common in non-vegan diets. Vitamin B12, for instance, is not just a vegan issue, contrary to popular belief. Up to 30% of adults aged 50 years and older may be unable to properly absorb vitamin B12 in food and need to have it added to fortified foods and supplements. For this reason, the Institute of Medicine advises all adults over the age of 50 to get extra B12 from a supplement or vitamin B12 fortified foods. In poorly designed plant-based diets, certain nutrients can be lacking, including B12, as well as iron, zinc, calcium, vitamin D, and iodine, and we will address those subjects later on. But thankfully, well-planned vegan diets contain all the nutrients we need to live healthy lives, and any nutrition challenges that vegans might be more likely to face are easy to either avoid or resolve once you know how. For those with specific health concerns, food allergies, or unusual dietary requirements, any change should be made carefully and consciously. However, this does not mean that it's not possible for such individuals to adopt a vegan diet healthfully. What it does mean is that changes should be made with appropriate attention to the specific nutritional requirements of the individual so that a plant-based diet can be sustained healthfully for life. For those who are concerned about specific aspects of their own nutrition, there are many resources available from vegan dietitians, nutritionists, and MDs, including websites, books, online courses, and YouTube channels. There are also several documentaries on the subject of vegan health that are not only hugely informative and eye-opening, but also offer ongoing support and education through their websites for those seeking nutritional assurance and even assistance with meal planning and learning how to cook. If, in your transition to veganism, you experience a shift in health that is not positive and seems to be diet-related, it may be that you simply need a change in diet and/or an increased intake of a specific nutrient. If you feel you need to seek medical guidance, we suggest that you make a point of finding a professional who respects your values and understands the benefits of vegan living. Finally, unlike health or weight loss fads such as the Atkins, paleo, or keto diets, veganism is neither a fad nor a diet, but a stand against injustice and commitment to non-violence that impacts one's eating choices because of ethical considerations. But having a basic understanding of the fundamentals of nutrition can help new vegans to empower themselves in light of the widespread misinformation generated by an industry with a vested interest in keeping its consumer base ignorant and indoctrinated into false beliefs. We become vegan as a rejection of speciesist principles and oppressive practices, not because we feel it will improve our health or make us fitter and more attractive. Nevertheless, the growing number of strong, active vegans is a testament to the fact that one doesn't have to sacrifice one's physical health to embrace a non-violent way of life. Anyone who has ever done even the most superficial research into health and nutrition knows that there are about as many different opinions as there are public personalities. However, as we learn more about the health risks related to our high dependency on meat, eggs, and dairy, and about the benefits of a diet free from ingredients that are cholesterol-rich and fiber-poor, there is certain information that is beginning to be widely accepted. A growing number of notable healthcare professionals now enthusiastically promote the health benefits of a vegan diet, along with what is rapidly becoming a small army of high-profile athletes who have switched to a plant foods diet and experienced dramatic improvements to their health and physical fitness. The word is finally out and spreading rapidly that a well-planned vegan diet can not only offer increased energy and vitality, as well as an improvement in general well-being, it can also greatly lessen our susceptibility to many of our most widespread health conditions, including heart disease, cancer, and diabetes, diseases whose prevalence is currently crippling the health of our population and monopolizing the resources of our healthcare system. Although we don't become vegan for health reasons, it's tremendously reassuring to learn that there are multiple benefits to adopting a diet that aligns with our ethical values, and that this is increasingly being confirmed by scientific studies. In fact, it turns out that moving to a plant-based diet is one of the most powerful steps you can take to improve your health, as well as to reduce your risk of experiencing some of the chronic diseases that have become a source of such concern for us all. In the United States, more people are suffering and dying from chronic disease than ever before. And chronic health conditions now affect half of all adults, including cancer, heart disease, stroke, diabetes, obesity, and hypertension. It is not only our national nutritional guidelines that have been hijacked by this reprehensible industry, it is our very healthcare system itself, which is crippled under the weight of millions of suffering individuals seeking relief from conditions that are completely avoidable. While rejecting the standard animal-based diet may require us to step outside the mainstream, it also empowers us to take our health into our own hands, as it turns out that a plant foods diet, especially one that is rich in whole foods and low in processed foods, is simply the fuel on which our bodies were designed to run. As such, it allows all the systems of the human body to function as nature intended. New vegans tend to increase their intake of fruits and vegetables and eat a diet that is naturally higher in fiber and lower in saturated fat. Plant foods are completely free from cholesterol, and most whole plant foods are also anti-inflammatory and contain a multitude of anti-cancer and generally health-promoting nutrients. Some people even say that replacing animal foods with vegan foods has helped them to shed unwanted weight. Of course, following a vegan diet, even a well-planned one, is not enough to ensure that disease never occurs. There are so many contributing factors to illness and health, including the genes we've inherited, the toxins in the surrounding environment, the emotional and spiritual environment in which we live, and likely many others that are, at this point, unknown to us. Nevertheless, many who become vegan, even those who struggle with lifelong illnesses that they will never fully overcome, report that their health has greatly improved as a direct result of adopting a plant-based diet. In a standard Western diet, there are certain nutrients that tend to be associated with animal foods, and these can sometimes be a source of concern for new vegans. But with more information out there about plant-based nutrition, and with a much greater availability of vegan options, it's no longer difficult to ensure that our vegan diets are not only adequate, but healthy and wholesome. There certainly are some essential nutrients that we need to be sure we're getting, but what we tend to learn very quickly is that the shift to a plant foods diet simply requires a few basic shifts in our thinking. Adopting a vegan diet encourages us to embrace more wholesome ways of obtaining certain nutrients, and although that might require us to make some changes, once we learn some basic steps toward sensible eating, it's neither difficult nor complicated to keep our diets healthy. As we've already explained, the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics states that appropriately planned vegan diets are appropriate for all stages of the life cycle. As they explain, this includes not only your average individual, but also pregnant and nursing mothers, newborn babies and growing children, the elderly, and athletes who place extreme demands on their bodies. Even so, just as there are nutrients that are abundant in the vegan diet that require extra attention from non-vegans, such as dietary fiber, a deficit of which can cause a whole host of serious health issues, there certainly are nutrients that require awareness from vegans, as we see in the American Dietetic Association's assertion that vegans may be low in certain nutrients if their diets are poorly planned. Vitamin B12 is probably the most widely popularized nutritional issue for vegans, because most nutrition professionals agree that due to our highly sanitized modern food production methods, this essential nutrient can no longer be found in any meaningful amount in most plant diets, making fortified foods and supplements the only reliable sources. In the meantime, however, deficiency of B12 is not just the result of poorly planned diets, vegan or otherwise. For a variety of reasons, up to 30% of adults aged 50 years and older may be unable to properly absorb B12 in food. In response to this concern, the Institute of Medicine advises all adults over the age of 50, vegan or not, to get extra B12 from a supplement or from fortified foods. Vitamin B12 is a nutrient we definitely need to be sure we're getting, but we only need minute amounts, and it's easy to obtain in a vegan way. No matter from where it's sourced, B12 is produced by microorganisms, either in the small intestines of humans or other animals, or in laboratories. Rather than eating animal foods for the B12 those animals have stored in their own bodies, vegans supplement our bodies with fortified foods, a liquid B complex that contains B12, or a vegan sublingual dot or spray. All of these have been proven effective. As recently as during the past year, though, a breakthrough has occurred with the B12 issue, as scientists have recently discovered a source of bioavailable B12 in an aquatic freshwater plant known as water lentils. And this exciting new development holds a great deal of promise for the future availability of a whole food source of vegan B12 and the marketing of foods such as plant milks that contain B12 naturally. Many people also suggest that everyone, vegan or not, should also be taking a vitamin D supplement, because although it's something we produce in our own bodies from exposure to sunlight on the skin, there isn't always enough sun to ensure we produce it adequately, especially in certain locations, and especially for those who spend most of their days working indoors. Use of sunscreen diminishes vitamin D production almost completely. Certain mushrooms, such as Monterey mushrooms, have been shown to contain this vitamin, and you can look in the produce aisle for mushrooms that are labeled as being high in vitamin D. But most of us have grown up receiving vitamin D supplementation unknowingly through fortified animal milks and other fortified non-vegan foods. So it's not a huge departure from the norm to make sure we receive adequate supplementation from either fortified foods or a vegan supplement. While vitamin D2 and D3 can both be effective in raising vitamin D levels, there is some information suggesting advantages to using vitamin D3. Although for many years the primary sources of D3 supplements were animal-based, there are now several plant-based vegan D3 supplements available. Fatty acids are another subject of controversy, as there is one essential omega-3 called ALA that is present in only a handful of plant foods, and the body converts this into two other omega-3 fats called DHA and EPA. Although the benefits of these fats are still very much in dispute even amongst nutrition professionals, some evidence suggests that DHA or EPA supplementation is helpful for certain people. Some have suggested that vegans might benefit from supplementation due to the naturally low levels of DHA found in vegan blood tests. But as recently as 2019, new evidence has surfaced to suggest that not only might lower levels not be a cause for concern, but that supplementation might actually be harmful in a number of ways. With the debate around this subject still very contentious, we suggest that everyone, vegan or not, stay tuned, since DHA supplements have been marketed to vegans and non-vegans alike. Some may be well advised to include a supplement, and those who do should make sure it is non-synthetic and derived from algae. But for most people, it seems like the wisest course of action is to consume a reliable source of whole food ALA daily in the form of chia seeds, flax seeds, hemp seeds, or walnuts. Although there are only a few foods that provide ALA in the vegan diet, we can easily meet our daily needs by eating a handful of walnuts or including a tablespoon of ground flaxseed in a smoothie or cereal. Contrary to popular belief, calcium isn't too difficult to find in a vegan diet, as we can see from the fact that cows obtain all the calcium they require for their huge bodies and to feed their offspring from a very limited plant diet. However, we do need to ensure we eat the foods that contain it, most notably leafy greens, nuts, and legumes, Calcium absorption from all of these foods tends to be excellent. And of course, there are also plant milks and juices that are fortified with calcium. As our bodies age, however, there is a reduction in our production of vitamin K2, which is an important nutrient for directing calcium to bones rather than to places where it doesn't belong, such as in our arteries. Although K2's precursor K1 is abundant in vegan foods such as dark leafy greens, K2 itself is difficult to find in plant foods, so it is sometimes recommended for vegans over 50 to take a supplement. The health of our gut bacteria can also affect our vitamin K2 levels, so those with reason for concern in that regard might benefit from consumption of fermented foods such as sauerkraut, kefir, vegan kimchi, and natto or a natto-sourced supplement. The bodies of both humans and other animals also make vitamin A from precursors such as beta-carotene that is found in abundance in plant foods. We can't get preformed vitamin A from plant foods, but just like the animals eaten by non-vegans, we can make our own by ensuring we consume adequate amounts of beta-carotene-rich foods such as carrots, sweet potatoes, and dark orange-colored squashes. Adequate protein intake is easily ensured by eating a diet that is rich in a wide variety of plant foods and as close to their whole state as possible, including whole grains, nuts and seeds, and legumes. To ensure adequate intake of all the essential amino acids, which are the building blocks of protein, vegans should be sure to eat a wide variety of foods rich in quality protein, such as whole soybeans, hemp seed, quinoa, buckwheat, and other nutritious whole foods. As for iron, although vegans are usually advised to eat iron-rich foods daily, multiple studies have shown that vegans are no more likely to suffer from iron deficiency than non-vegans. For those with a tendency toward poor iron absorption, though, the addition of vitamin C to iron-containing foods can be helpful. Many vegetables such as broccoli, spinach, and bok choy, which are high in iron, are also naturally high in vitamin C, which aids iron absorption. One final note on specific nutrients is about iodine, as it is an essential mineral of which more than 30% of the worldwide population is not getting enough, and an imbalance of this nutrient can cause serious health problems, especially in children. Scientific studies indicate that vegans might be falling short on iodine, but this could be because most of the population gets it through the unnatural application of iodine to clean dairy equipment. Obviously, iodine must be missing in the world's soils, or we wouldn't have iodine added to table salt for the general public. Most vegans don't consume iodized salt, however, preferring to use sea salt and other alternatives. There are various vegan food sources of iodine, but the amount they contain depends on the soil or water in which they were grown. So the best way to be sure you're getting enough is to use a supplement or a salt that contains it, such as iodized salt or pink Himalayan salt. So there you have it. For those who are still concerned about obtaining adequate amounts of these key nutrients or any others, it's a good idea to educate yourself a little more about which foods contain what. Once again, there are plenty of resources available online and in books written by vegan or vegan-friendly registered dietitians, nutritionists, and MDs. If you wish to seek medical guidance to help you make the vegan transition, it's advisable to seek the help of a professional who respects your values and understands the benefits of vegan living. Finally, for more information about how to optimize your health as a vegan, check out the next segment in this section. There are many different ways to eat a vegan diet, and not all of them are necessarily healthy. We respect the right of each individual to make their own choices about their own health, as long as their choices don't hurt anyone else. Unhealthy eating might have the potential of causing harm to oneself in the long run, but eating an unhealthy vegan diet is still ethically preferable to eating a diet that causes unquestionable and sustained violence to other sentient beings. Regardless, though, we encourage our fellow vegans to make it a priority to take care of themselves, not only for their own well-being, but also out of respect and concern for those who love them and those who depend on them. Maintaining our health and vitality helps us to be more fully present in everything we do in our lives, including our activism and our efforts toward bringing about a vegan world. With that in mind, along with the practices we discussed in the last segment, there are certain simple principles that can help your vegan diet to help you. Probably the most beneficial thing you can do for your plant-based diet is to limit your intake of processed foods and eat a wide variety of whole foods. Fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, nuts, and seeds are all abundantly nutritious on their own, and they can also be turned into an unlimited array of delicious vegan dishes. We'll explore some of the possibilities in the next step of the program. Make eating fresh fruits and vegetables a priority, including leafy greens and vegetables of different colors, such as orange-colored veggies for beta-carotene. To satisfy your hunger, look to root vegetables like potatoes, squashes, and sweet potatoes, and whole grains such as brown rice, millet, oats, and quinoa. Beans and pulses of all kinds are nutritional powerhouses and are extremely fulfilling and sustaining. There is more and more evidence to support the wisdom of limiting your consumption of refined oils and seeking healthy whole food sources of fat, such as nuts and nut butters, avocados, whole coconut, and other seeds. As we explained in the previous segment, flaxseed, hemp seed, chia seed, and walnuts are essential sources of the omega-3 ALA, and these should be eaten daily. Refined sugars of all kinds tend to diminish the health benefits of a vegan diet and are best avoided and replaced as much as is reasonable with whole food sources such as fresh and dried fruits. And limiting salt in favor of fresh and dried herbs, spices, and seasonings also seems to be a wise move. When we do eat foods with refined oils, sugars, and salt, it's best to try and keep them to a minimum. It's a good idea to include a good source of protein in most meals and to eat calcium-rich foods daily. For more detailed information about what that means, please refer to the previous section in this chapter. Of course, as is true for everyone, it's always advisable to keep active, get enough quality sleep, stay well hydrated, and avoid exposure to environmental toxins and harmful chemicals, including in non-organic and highly processed foods. And of course, we can help to keep our bodies healthy by keeping our minds healthy. We are so much more than what we eat, and our mental and emotional health plays a huge role in our physical well-being. Get into nature and allow gentle sunlight on your skin. Take brisk walks in beautiful places. Engage in activities that you love. Nurture your creativity. Get enough rest. Volunteer your time toward causes that inspire you. Spend time with those you care about. And surround yourself with people who support your new initiative toward authenticity and integrity. Finally, keep in mind that what you are doing is not a lifestyle choice, but a moral obligation. Keep moving forward and continue to persevere even in the face of challenges. And whatever you do, keep looking forward toward the new you that you are creating with every day of your new vegan life.